put it on YouTube. So, all right. Hey, everybody. Riot Mort here. And a little fun thing we're going to do today here is we're going to do the sets tier list. I posted this on Twitter, saw a bunch of replies, was really interesting to see. If someone has spare time, they shouldn't do this, but it'd be really cool to like compile them all and see what the average was. That would be really fun. Don't do that though. That's such a waste of time. But I'm going to go through my personal, this is my personal take, not Riot's take, my personal take on the set tier list and what it should be, kind of how we've done. Obviously, this is taking a bunch of the learning articles and things like that. So, yeah. Cool. So let's start. So starting with set 1. Set 1 gets a lot of bonus points because it was the original set. It started TFT. It kicked the thing off. You have to give it a lot of credit. But I want to say I'm kind of grading it for its time. And so, like, for its time, it's kind of like the standard. So I'm going to put it in C tier. I will say if you were grading it right now, it would drop to F tier. There are so many things in this set that are just, like, unacceptable nowadays. Just unacceptable. Dragons being immune to damage, frickin', Cursed Blade, Phantom, Hextech, Pantheon, like, nope. There are just so many things that you would not do in the set. And that doesn't even count the 3-hex board. So, yeah. Could you imagine, like, you hit a 3-star Soraka, and then a Cursed Blade proc shrinks your Soraka and you lose the fight? That'd be pretty bad. So anyway, like I said, it gets C tier because for its time. But other than that, not great. All right, set 2. So set 2 is the set that almost killed TFT. Set 2 was so bad as far as player base goes that we were told we get to make set 3, and if set 3 wasn't successful, we would have to stop making TFT, and they were going to put it on like maintenance mode. So set 2 is pretty bad. There were some fun things to it. I think the elemental hexes were a fine like side mechanic. I think Lux was great. I think Sivir as a carry was fine. I think there were some cool concepts in there. Trait design was okay, but man, some of the units were like real rough. Making Inferno with Zyra when there's a woodland trait, making Diana Inferno when there's a moonlight trait. Like, there were so many bad decisions in that set. We learned a lot, but my God, what a rough set. But honestly, because there are some good elements here, not F tier. It's not F tier. It's D. So it gets to be in D tier. Like, there are a few redeeming things in there. So it is not F tier. All right. Set 3. Set 3 was the set that saved TFT. Because again, if we kept going like set 2 was, we were going to kill it. Set 3 was good. It had galaxies. It had fun champions. It had space pirates. It was a solid set. I'm not going to say it was perfect. There's some things looking back on set 3 that if you look at now, you have to laugh. Set 2, by the way, we didn't launch with ranked. So that was other big mistake of set 2. Set 3 didn't launch with its mechanic. Set 3, the first 2 weeks, there were no galaxies. That's a big munka nowadays. Could you imagine just like, yeah, you don't get treasure dragon or dragons today. Like, there's just no world. So that's kind of silly. The other thing is that some of those galaxies were real bad. There were some real bad galaxies. Remember Lilac Galaxy, where you would start with a 4 cost and whoever got Soraka lost the game? Yeah, that's not great. That's not great. So set 3, solid set, definite improvement, but like definitely some things wrong with it too. So it gets to go in B tier. Now, the good news is set 3.5 starts a trend of improving the set. Set 3.5, we got cool things like Bard and Teemo in Astro. We got Urgot. Urgot was kind of fun, controversial, but fun. The galaxies were like solid now. We were getting the good galaxies. We ended on Big Bang Galaxy. Big Bang Galaxy was solid. So I think 3.5 shows, like, again, it was the first mid set that improved the set. It was an improvement, not like perfectly, but it was a solid improvement. So I'm going to put it in A tier. You could argue it's S, and I might end up moving it to S a little later, but it's definitely A tier. So yeah, Cassiopeia was really fun. Yeah, Cassiopeia was fun. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in S tier. I'm gonna put it in S tier. So cool. Okay, set 4. Set 4 was like, chef's kiss. Chosen was a really good mechanic. Don't let the angry tryhards fool you. Chosen was a great mechanic. The theme was fun. There were some really good things here. Not perfect, though. I will say set 4 starts a trend of us launching a little bit before we're ready, because set 4, the Chosen mechanic took like, 3 or 4 iterations of tuning to get right. So early on, Chosen was real rough. People getting their 5-cost Chosens at level 8 early on was not great. But Moonlight was a lot of fun. Balance was still kind of all over the place. Had some really good carries. So really what we have to talk about is, like, was 4 better than 3.5? And I think the answer is yes. I really do think the answer is yes. Between Fortune, Ari, the 5 costs, I think it's better. So I think it goes above here. I'm going to put 3.5 in A tier for now. I might move it, but set 4 was better. Okay, so then we go to 4.5. Again, mid-set then improves the set. I think 4.5 was an improvement, but it's close. Set 4.5 was really fun. We got some cool traits. We got some cool champions. The Chosen system finally started getting its shit together. We got Lucky Lanterns in there. Lucky Lanterns were a lot of fun. It wasn't perfect, though. There was definitely some rough balance at the early part of it. We got there by, like, mid-set. But yeah, like, early Samira wasn't great. But again, the question is it better than set 4? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. So set 4.5 definitely goes down as one of the grades. I do think it's close, though. 4.5 and 4 are very, very close. It wasn't nearly the jump that 3 to 3.5 was, or future mid-sets. It wasn't that big a jump. All right, set 5. Shadow items. Yeah, not great. We took a risk. Shadow items, not so hot. Some of the traits ended up pretty boring. Set 5 is the equivalent of lost streaking astrals into set 6. Set 5 was an under-resourced set because we were trying to get the arcane set ready. We don't talk about set 5. Set 5 is bad, but shadow items really left a bad taste. Dark Blue Buff LeBlanc. There's a few redeeming qualities in it, for sure. Abomination was fun. Nidalee was fun. Yasuo, Riven. There were fun champions in there. So the $1 million question here is, which is better, set 5 or set 2? That's really what this is a conversation about. And it's really close. It's really close. But for me, the reason I say 5 is because I felt like 5 was something I could play. Like, I feel like if you put 2 and 5 side by side together today, 5 would win. And 5 didn't almost kill TFT. 2 almost killed TFT. So for me, I'm always going to hold that grudge that set 2 is worse than set 5. And so it's going to look like this. But it's close. It's really close. So, yeah, I think armories were redeeming. Okay, so then we talk about 5.5. 5.5, I think, will always go down as the most improved mid-set by a long shot. Radiant items were so much better than freaking shadow items. It's not even close. We fixed a lot of the problems. We got rid of a lot of the annoying, crappy units. 5.5, like, if 5.5 had been bad, I think we would have burned a lot of player trust. 5.5 showed that, look, the TFT team might screw up, but they're going to fix it. And we can trust that they'll fix it. So for me, that earns a ton of points. So now it's a question of where does it fit in comparison to the rest? I think 5.5 is as good, as 3.5. That is my controversial take. The thing that puts it a little below is some of the verticals, like Dawnbringer and Nightbringer, were just boring compared to some of the stuff in 3.5, like Mech. So for me, 5.5 is better than 3, but worse than 3.5. So I'm going to put it right there. You could argue it might be B tier. Like, this is debatable where it is here. I'm biased a little bit because, again, it was like such an improvement, and so that makes me feel really good. But if you told me it's B tier, I'd believe you. Okay, set 6, the Arcane set. Set 6 was the Fortune Cash Out. Tons of fun champions and traits. Mercenary came back, which was basically Fortune 2.0. It brought augments. Augments were exactly what TFT needed. Set 6 was exactly the investment we needed, timed with Arcane. It was perfect. Sorry, it wasn't perfect. It was a perfect timing. The set was not perfect. There were still some things in that set that, you know, we had a bunch of verticals that were basically non-playable, like who played Academy? Anyone? Stuff did get a little bit predictable. So it's not perfect by any means, but my God, was it good. My God, was it good. And so set 6, I think, is the best set we've released to date. I think it is better than 4.5. And so for me, it sits at the top. It is the king. All right, 6.5. Remember that tradition I talked about where mid sets are always an improvement? Yeah. This one, not so much. This one, not so much. You know, it relied on a lot of reprints. It relied on, you know, I think Hextech did not really work out as a trait. The meta was really not great. Sivir, just some real rough stuff in there. It didn't quite pan out the way it could. I don't like it. It still got carried by augments. So like anyone who puts it in the like D tier is like lying. It's not that bad. The thing is, it was just such a stark contrast. Going from 6 to 6.5 felt bad, but it still wasn't bad. So for me, the question is, what is it better than? Right? Well, it's clearly better than 2 and 5. Like putting it in D tier would just be a lie. Is it better than 1? I think so, honestly, with augments. Is it better than 3? That's where it gets really, really close. So for me, I'm going to put it in C tier above set 1. I think, and again, remember how I raised 5.5 because it improved the set? I think it gets C tier because it made the set worse. And that was not okay. I think you could argue it's B, but like, again, the gap between 5.5 and 6.5, and I feel like it has to be punished for that, like, making the set worse. All right, now, 7 and 7.5, I'm going to have to be careful. I can't go into my full details because we have the learnings article coming out, and I need to respect the publishing beats that are coming out. So I can't go into my full feelings completely yet, but I will be broad. So apologies, you'll have to wait for that learnings article. Set 7, I think, had a lot of mistakes in it. Thematically, very fun. It's dragons. Dragons are freaking sweet. But mechanically, had a lot of problems. Set 7 will also go down in history as the set with the most micro patches. That's not good. So not one of our home runs for sure. So again, the $1 million question is, what is it better than? Is it better than 6.5? That's hard. That's hard. Was 6.5 better than 7? Or 7 better than 6.5? That's a tough one. I think it's slightly better. And I think it gets carried by some of the thematics, some of the better augments. So I'm going to put it at low B. It is better than 6.5, but it's close. It's not like a home run. And I think we're in this lull where, like, if you want A and S tier from TFT, you're going from 6.5 to 7, and you're like, ugh. So then we go to 7.5, and I think, again, we talk about, did we improve? Yeah, we did. We did improve 7.5. It is an improvement. It still has a lot of the fundamental issues that Dragonlance has, but I think it clearly improved it. The other thing that didn't help, though, is that 7.5 launched with a meta that you would call redundant, right? I think one of the worst things is launching a meta of a mid set and having Xayah be S tier. It's not that Xayah shouldn't be allowed to be S tier, but when you go from a launch set to a mid set, nobody wants to play the carry you've been playing for 3 months. That's pretty rough. So it's certainly not an S tier by any means. So again, the question is, what is it better than? Is it better than 3? I think so. Is it better than 5.5? Again, debatable. Debatable? I think so, though. I actually think so. I think now with the flexibility and stuff like that, I think it's better. But I don't think it's better than 3.5. And so for me, it looks like that. And so that would probably be my tier list here. I would call this an uncontroversial tier list. It's like safe. But that's my tier list. There you go. I hope to be able to talk to you more about the set 7 and 7.5 learnings. And we'll go from there. So, cool. That's it for now. Take it easy.